Greetings, families. Welcome back. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Happy New Year to you all. Yes, I'm recording this video in the new year. We have entered the new year, and I bring you good news from Burkina Faso. Families, our president has spoken few hours ago about what happened 2024 and what will happen 2025, which we have seen the some of the things already. So families, I will leave you to listen to him. It's a long video. I will be back. Thank you for your time. Please like the video, share it if possible, so a lot of people will know about what is going on. I'm so grateful for your support. I will be back. Thank you.
As a patient, fighting for freedom, sovereignty and independence is real. It's a great pleasure. On this December 31st holiday, which marks the end of 2024, I'd like to take the floor and give you a summary of the year 2024, as well as the outlook for 2025. Let me give thanks to God, who covers Burkina Faso with his benevolent mother and keeps us on our feet. I'd like to pay tribute to all the forces we're waiting for, who are fighting day and night to the supreme sacrifice so that our homeland remains and stays. I wish a speedy recovery to all those who were injured in this barbarity, and I pray to God for the repose of the souls of all those who fell in this battle. I'd also like to pay tribute to the many people, both inside and outside the country, who continue to make a massive contribution to helping us fight this war and begin our real development. 2024 was a challenging year on the battlefield, as the enemy tried to regain the strategic initiative to prevent us from achieving our objectives. Thanks to our valiant and resilient fighting forces, we have been able to keep the table and always towards the initiative. Today, more than ever, we're taking the offensive and we're taking the action and we're trapping these criminals. This was made possible by a dynamic process that began at the start of 23 and continues to this day. In particular, we're equipping the fighting force with logistical equipment, maneuvering equipment, and firepower. And we're going to continue to increase this throughout 2025, so that the army we're building can become a reality and protect our homeland. For years to come, we will continue to recruit as we did in 2024. In this year alone, we have recruited more than 15,000 men from the National Armed Forces alone, who are still being trained at the center and will therefore have to reinforce the ranks of the fighting forces. In 2025, we will also be continuing intensive training in collaboration with all our friends in Burkina Faso, so that we can have the army we want. As regards marriage in the territory, several units have been created, including the Special Rapid Intervention Brigade, and we will continue to strengthen the capacity of all our armies to deal with current and future threats. To this end, at least 5 rapid intervention battalions will be created by 2025, to be placed in strategic areas. Army level, a Sahel expeditionary group will be created. All this is aimed at densifying the battlefields and reconquering our entire territory. Security forces. The readjustment will continue strategically, and we want these forces to be able to adapt intelligently and flexibly to the territory in question, so as to be able to take advantage of the gaps and corridors that these criminals could use to infiltrate. We will continue our efforts with the support of the people to bring all our fighting forces up to standard and reconquer our territory. Road infrastructure is vital to the region's success. Over the course of 2024, a number of projects have come to fruition, particularly in terms of road design in our towns and countryside. The Nephew Initiative has also been set up, which should eventually provide each region with a road-building brigade. Equipment for the first brigades is already on the way, and in just a few days they will be up and running and ready for action. For the happiness of our fighting forces, for their mobility on the battlefields. And also to provide certain areas that have had no roads for a long time with good roads to enable them to communicate. When we talk about roads, we're also talking about the flow of our products. That's why we've stepped up our agricultural activities. Our production in 2024 had very satisfactory results. And we give thanks to God who has enabled us to have very good, more electric power throughout the country. Production has been exceptional and we're going to continue in this direction. Several speculations have been introduced, long-lasting speculations such as cocoa, coffee, avocado, wheat and many others, which should enable us to more or less halt imports into Burkina Faso, and also to process these materials and sell them abroad to earn foreign currency. All of this contributes to the development of our homeland, which we are gradually beginning to develop in terms of livestock farming. A number of projects were carried out in 2024, notably the renewal of livestock through several initiatives, but we are also in the process of setting up a system for feeding livestock and fish. Several vaccination campaigns have been carried out or subsidized in various locations. Continuing efforts to support farmers through inputs and all the mechanization they need to support them, produce and achieve our goal of food self-sufficiency, and why not export our surpluses? Since many industries will be created to process our raw materials locally. In 2024, we inaugurated some plants in this direction, with many more plants being inaugurated in 2025. Some of you witnessed the first stones break, but others have not. We will continue processing raw materials locally for the benefit of Burkina Faso's people and exporting the processed products. Keep our economy going internally and avoid imports. Food for all. On the economic front, efforts have been made to enable Burkina Faso to hold its head high in the face of adversity. And many funds have been readjusted to take into account the aspirations of young people. Recently, the National Agency for Inclusive Finance was created, with the aim of granting loans and young people and to be able to monitor their activities. The Ministry of Youth has been instructed to create solid bodies that will monitor the projects that young people will be carrying out and which can then be financed through these bodies that we have created. In the first quarters of 2025, we plan to accelerate the implementation of these cells to ensure the success of the projects funded by loans for young people in Burkina Faso. To pursue our efforts in the economic and commercial fields, so that our young people can develop fully with their country's resources. In the 2000 area, we have regained control of our natural resources. Metals such as gold, silver, copper and so on must be exploited by the Burkinabe, and we are gradually discovering the national expertise that makes this possible. To exploit local resources for the good of Canada, encouraging semi-mechanized production. Industrial mines must be created outside Burkina Faso and for Burkina Faso, and the state is no longer in charge. The power to exploit this local expertise for the benefit of our homeland. In the environmental field, several projects will see the light of day. We expect to create a grove and type of grove in each province that will include medicinal plants and herbs that can be used by our radio practitioners and even our researchers. The Institut de Recherche en Sciences de la Santé has proved its worth using our local plants. In fact, I have instructed this institute to list all the equipment they need to increase their capacity and exploit our potential in terms of plants and herbs to supplement certain imported medicines. We're going to continue in this direction so that we can heal ourselves through our plants, and the Ministry of the Environment is doing everything in its power to ensure that this project sees the light of day in 2025. A tree planting scheme across the institutions and all the structures that may be designated will see the light of day so that we can revere our environment, take care of our environment and so that it fully benefits La Beauce, so this will increase the health plateau. We're working hard to improve the technical facilities of the various health centers and hospitals. May they rise again. The endowments took place in 2024, notably in terms of medical equipment, but 2025 will also see the birth of new endowments of medical equipment. And above all, the health center through the health initiative. Health infrastructures will be built in several communes, because we want to turn our social promotion health centers into communal centers, which must therefore have a sufficiently well-equipped technical platform in terms of laboratories and imaging to be able to approach medical centers with surgical branches. The aim is to bring rural populations closer together. healthcare, and to facilitate a certain number. Anything in this area? So, speaking of education, several forms have been initiated, perhaps slowly for some. But we need to go slowly and surely, because the education system we're in is deeply focused on training more graduates than people capable of working and producing wealth. Unfortunately, that's the reality. But we're working hard to change the school infrastructure and adapt it, modernize it, and then change the curriculum and the instructional program. Gradually, as we seek to move from general to technical and vocational education, this transformation is underway, and it will take some time before we reach the standards we want. All sectors of education will be targeted, which is why the Quality Education for All initiative was created. And already, the foundation stones have been laid for the modern centers we're aiming for, and construction will continue through to 2025. As an Arab in the field of administration, as you witnessed in the last trial, the embezzlement of funds from our administration. This shows how much our administration is not in adequacy with the aspirations of the moment, or if the procedures are obsolete, which is why many measures are being taken to get this administration up and running again. The CRDA will be up and running by January to allow citizens to report abuse and malfunctions in our administration. This will encourage digitalization to fight corruption effectively. Processing times will remain lengthy, and corruption will persist. The civil service is therefore registered to change the code to be able to integrate a certain number of jobs, so that certain people who were under contract within the administration can be integrated in an efficient way and have a career plan. We are pursuing many reforms in this area until our administration is the one the people want in the field of justice. Many reforms have already taken place and will continue in 2025. A new type of auditor de justice will be recruited for these customary courts. This is to take into account our endogenous values of conflict resolution, to have restorative justice and not just punitive justice. In this sense, by taking into account our endogenous values and involving customary and religious leaders in our values, we can only transform our justice system and bring it closer to the people. These reforms will continue throughout 2025. And we expect to reach our target soon. In the field of territorial administration, as announced by the Prime Minister in his general policy speech, a redrawing of the territory is essential, taking into account a number of aspects, surface areas, of course, but above all strategic and economic ones. Proposed in 2025, decentralization, which today is a good thing, but its implementation is still far off. A study is being carried out on all BF and Capes. The study, expected in the next few days, will enable an in-depth diagnosis of decentralization. Funds have therefore been suspended pending these studies, in order to re-articulate and give new missions to the authorities, i.e. local authorities in the field of urbanization in the course of 2025. After a study is carried out in 2024, the people of Burkina Faso will be asked to make their own choices for the design of our cities. When these choices are presented, we hope to have an outcome that will enable us to redefine our towns and cities, and make a realization that meets today's standards. This dynamic will continue in 2025, and the Merbo initiative will also play its part. To this dynamic of urbanization in the field of sport, this is the place for me to congratulate all the sporting youth, because 2024 was a sporting year, so several athletes returned to Burkina Faso with medals. Flag of Burkina Faso. I congratulate her and encourage them to keep up the momentum so that by 2025 we'll have even more medals and the Burkina Faso flag will continue to fly all over the world. It helps to promote Burkina Faso's image abroad. So, in the field of diplomacy, the support of the sports world is already there. But our diplomats are hard at work throughout 2023 and 2024 in aggressive diplomacy. We'll continue in this vein in 2025, so that Burkina Faso's image around the world can continue to grow. And through this, we are in a confederation, the Alliance of Sahel States. Several actions are currently underway to structure this alliance. Last night, because this is the beginning of the union in sovereignty, in total freedom, so that Africa can take an example from this alliance of power meeting, the alliance is not just for the 3 countries. The alliance belongs to all Africans. desire for freedom and independence. Continuing, the other approach is to make the Union strong in all the areas mentioned, be it diplomacy, defense and security, and above all development. Our diplomacy is shining, and we're continuing our efforts to make it even stronger, so that Burkina Faso's representations abroad can take into account our diaspora, as well as all the friends of Burkina Faso who wish to visit Burkina Faso and participate in its development. That's what we'll be doing. An example of sovereignty, an example of dignity, and a source of pride throughout Africa and the whole world. The Institute of Black Peoples should be a springboard for attracting black people from all over the world to Burkina Faso, so that they can recharge their batteries, revisit their cultures and learn from them, modernizing them to help our homeland develop. A building will be erected at the museum to accommodate a number of these activities. Things of our culture, so that their institute can be based on these values and teach the whole world what it is that the black people, what it is that Africa. I hope that 2025 will be a year of perfect health, success, prosperity and victory for our people.
Yes, families, you heard it. The alliance is not for three countries, it's for Africa. This is what most of us here think, and that's why we follow them. We know what they are doing is for the whole Africa, the whole continent, and so we believe in them. We don't think it's for only the three countries. It's only few people who thinks that they are selfish, they are military leaders, and they are controlling or manipulating. Some are saying they are dictators. Yes, but we know what they are doing. They are showing us how it should be done. They are shining the light on Africa once again. Thank you, families. Have a wonderful, wonderful new year. And I hope to see you soon. There will be a brand new AES, brand new Africa, brand new world because we need peace in the world, not only Africa. Thank you. Credit to RTB News. My VIPs, my kings and queens, I will see you all soon. God bless you all. Bye bye.